And here we are with the Insta360 One R. Alright, guilty as charged. I've had this sitting here looking at me now for around about 2 months, willing me to take it out of its box and have a play with it and begging me to tell the world all about it. Haven't you? Haven't you been begging me? But for a while there, the world had other plans for me in helping out with the COVID-19 response here in New Zealand. But now I'm back. And so to celebrate my backness, is that a thing? Yes, it is. Let's celebrate my backness with the first look at the Insta360 One R. Hello Insta360 One R, tell me all about yourself. So if you haven't heard, yes, this is quite a departure for Insta360 consumer cameras. After the Insta360 One, the One X and the Go, we have this modular concept 360 camera with this 4K module too, which looks a kind of bit GoPro-y. Well, okay, very GoPro-y. A whole lot like a GoPro actually, which is quite a change in form factor from the slim, long build of the One X, which I personally really liked. So this is the twin pack I have right here with the wide angle 4K module and also the 360 module too. Yes, it's modular. You can snap the camera apart and together using this core module right here as the core of the camera, which is nice, but there's small screen to help you to frame the shot. You didn't have that on the One X, so that's a welcome addition. And you can also flip this monitor for when you're filming yourself too with the 4K module, and that's pretty cool and helpful too. And when you're using the 360 mod, you can also scroll around to get an idea of what you're filming and how it's going to look. I like this new edition already, and I've barely tried it so far. It's a touch on the small side for the screen, but I think it's totally usable. So modular, yes, it kind of comes apart and snaps together a bit like Duplo or Lego. And now to keep it all secure and to power the thing, you're going to need two things. The first thing you're going to need is a power supply, which is this red base. Okay, that works, but it's also making it bigger. Speaking of power supply, I'm sorry, but this sickens me. Why? Why would you put such a terrible startup sound on this modern device? I mean, I did make a video on how 360 cameras seem to be taking a design lead from the blocks of tech that were around in the 80s, but did you have to make it sound so 1980s too? I mean, not only the tones, but it sounds so harsh. It literally makes me wince when I turn this on. Horrible. Not a good user experience. I haven't found out how to turn this off yet. Please, Insta360, give me some options or make it so that I can just check it's on via the LEDs. I really don't like it. While we're on audio, I'm pretty interested in the options that are available for capturing audio on the One R. As well as some firmware improvements to capture better audio via the built-in mics on the camera, the new USB-C port enables capturing audio via a USB-C adapter that Insta360 have designed for you to plug a 3.5mm jack in for your mic. They made this pretty cheap, but I wish this just came with the camera in the package, but I guess I'll just have to order one or wait for one to arrive. In fact, I'm not even sure if it's available yet. Anyway, I'll be testing a few different ways to capture decent audio in an upcoming video. The One X was a bit limited in its ability to capture decent audio, even though Insta360 did come up with true audio, which did improve things a lot. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, power supply. But then you need a cage to keep the whole thing snug and secure. So when you finally compare what this looks like when it's secure and you have something to mount it to, it looks quite a lot bigger now, doesn't it? Sneaky, Insta360. Sneaky.
I am very sneaky, sir.
And talking of mounting, I wish they put a tripod mount in the actual cage here, rather than just this action camera mount. Because this could slip and then put your camera at an angle, which means that the invisible selfie stick is then no longer invisible. Because for it to be invisible, it needs to be directly under the camera. And if the camera is at an angle to the stick, well, all that is ruined and you see the stick. So that's a minus point for me straight off. I really did wish they had that tripod adapter built into the cage. I'm sure this third-party cage is coming out soon, but that's not working for me. And where's the cold shoe mount for a mic or a light? How's that going to look in 360 as well? Maybe that's why there isn't one. I'm going to be having fun trying that out in future tests. I'm also not keen on this little door which hides the USB port and the SD card slot either. It feels a bit cheap and flimsy. It's these little touches which make it feel like this is a little bit less premium than it should be. It's these finishing touches. Not so good. Get these right and it sounds petty, but the annoying user experience things that you encounter every day, and it becomes a total experience of awesomeness. Right now it's awesome and then noise and flap flap. On the plus side, now that this is secure, it's waterproof down to 5 meters. You'll still get the distortion from being underwater, and you'll need an actual underwater housing to deal with that, particularly if you're going to go diving. But now at least you can do this and you can go out in really rubbish weather without worrying about breaking the camera. Well played here, Insta360, at last. So 5.7K at 30 frames per second when it first came out, and now a few more frame rates and resolution options available too, with firmware updates since the camera was released, which is really, really good. And you've got 100 frames per second, 3K slow motion too, which is good enough. Though of course I want more, because when you render that out on a flat screen, it looks like 720p at best. I want it all. I want it all. But I do like how Insta360 does keep updating their cameras on a regular basis. I hope that continues not only with the One R, but the One X and the Insta360 Go 2. Please don't forget your legacy cameras. Thank you, Insta360. I like the rubber lens cover thing that comes included and slips over the 360 module lenses. I broke my Insta360 One X lens and they took ages to fix it, so I'd highly recommend keeping your lenses covered up unless you're actually using the camera. And just before you do, just check that you don't have smudges on your lenses before you start capturing footage. Insta360 does provide a handy cleaning cloth in the package. But what am I supposed to do with the module when I'm not using it? I mean, I don't want to leave it behind. It kind of defeats the point of having a modular system. What I wish they did was what Moment do when they supply their lenses to attach to smartphones. Look at this one. This is a 58mm lens, attaches to your smartphone, and a handy little pouch to keep it safe when you're not using it. Comes as standard. This is a really small thing that could have gone a long way to surprise and delight your users. Insta360 next time, eh? So the One R has had a few firmware updates that have sorted out quite a few of the kinks that were apparent on the original launch. The app is apparently a joy to use, and it's just starting to grow into its potential now, I think. And of course there's the 1-inch Mod 2, which promises all kinds of great low light capturing potential. Where can I get me one of those here in New Zealand quite quickly? That was funny, the camera switched itself off there for some reason. I've heard that the voice recording is a little bit sensitive on this, the voice command, so I'll have to give that a test in another video, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, how's this sound? What's the audio sound like? Again, another more in-depth audio test coming probably in the next video I do about the One R. Bye-bye plane! Whoa, that's an old one. My next video, that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks, will be on those audio features of the One R. When that's available, you can check it out here. But in the meantime, check out the next video in just a couple of days right here using the One R app to edit 1X footage on a zip line. My name's Joe Howell. Thank you and good night.